The champagne glass shattered before it touched the floor. Maya froze as crystal scattered across the marble tiles of the Cole family mansion. Every head in the grand ballroom turned toward her. Conversations died. Music faded into an awkward silence. Ethan Cole's mother slowly lowered the hand that had slapped the glass from Maya's fingers. "I think that is enough pretending for one night," she said coldly. Maya's fingers trembled. Red juice dripped from the broken stem onto her borrowed dress. Ethan stepped forward. "Mother, stop." But his mother's eyes never left Maya. "You arrive in my home wearing discount fabric, borrowed jewelry, and the confidence to stand beside my son?" she asked. "That is bold." Guests exchanged glances. Some smiled behind their drinks. Maya swallowed hard. "I didn't come here to disrespect anyone." "No," the woman replied. "You came to secure your future." Ethan's jaw tightened. "She came because I invited her." His father, Richard Cole, approached with the slow authority of a man used to obedience. "Then perhaps you made a mistake." Maya looked at Ethan, waiting for him to speak with certainty, to defend what they had built together for the past year. He hesitated, and in that hesitation, her heart began to crack. If you enjoy emotional stories with shocking twists, subscribe now, because this story is only getting started. Richard Cole lifted his glass and looked Maya over like she was a problem on paper. "What does your mother do?" he asked. Maya answered quietly. "She's sick." "That was not my question." "She used to clean offices." Murmurs moved through the room. "And you?" he asked. "I work at a cafe." His wife laughed softly. "A waitress." Maya's cheeks burned. Ethan stepped closer to her. "That doesn't define her." His mother snapped back. "It defines exactly where she belongs." The room went still again. Maya stared at Ethan. "Say something." He opened his mouth. Closed it. Richard placed a hand on his son's shoulder. "Come to my office." "Now." Maya watched Ethan get led away while strangers stared at her like entertainment. One woman whispered loudly enough to hear. "These girls always aim high." Another chuckled. "At least she tried." Maya bent down, picked a shard of glass from the floor, and placed it on the tray of a passing server. Then she walked out with tears blurring the hallway. Outside, the night air hit her face. She reached the front gate before footsteps came running behind her. "Maya, wait." Ethan caught up, breathless. She turned. "Did you come to defend me now, after the show ended?" "You know how they are." "No," she said, voice shaking. "I know how you are. It's complicated. It was simple until you chose silence." He reached for her hand. She pulled back. "I love you," he said. "Then why did I feel alone in a room full of your people?" He had no answer. She stepped away. "One day, Ethan, you'll remember tonight and wish you had spoken." Then she walked into the darkness. 3 years earlier, Ethan had met Maya when she spilled coffee on his expensive suit. She had gasped, grabbed napkins, and said, "I can't replace that, but I can apologize professionally." He laughed for the first time in weeks. She worked double shifts, studied online classes during breaks, and still smiled at customers who treated her badly. He kept returning to the cafe, at first for coffee, then for conversation, then because she became the best part of his day. She challenged him, teased him, and never cared about his last name. When he once arrived in a sports car, she shrugged. "Nice machine. Can it make you less annoying?" He had fallen hard. He took her to bookstores, cheap diners, hidden beaches. She showed him neighborhoods he had never walked through. He showed her museums she had never entered. They dreamed recklessly. One small apartment, 2 careers, peace. But peace is fragile when wealth feels entitled. The next morning after the party, Ethan entered his father's office. Richard didn't invite him to sit. "You will end this relationship." "No, you will. I love her." His mother stood by the window. "You are infatuated with struggle. It will pass." Ethan's voice rose. "You don't know her." Richard slammed a folder onto the desk. Inside were financial reports, contracts, inheritance papers. "You are set to become vice president next quarter," he said. "Walk away from that girl, and your future continues." "And if I don't?" Richard leaned forward. "You lose your position, your trust fund access, your share options, your home. Your name carries no money unless I allow it." Ethan stared. His mother added softly, "Love does not survive unpaid bills." He left furious, but fury weakens when comfort whispers. 2 nights later, he met Maya at the park where they first kissed. She smiled when she saw him, but it faded quickly. "What happened?" she asked. He looked away. This life was never realistic. Her face went pale. What? We come from different worlds. You said that didn't matter. I was wrong. Tears filled her eyes. No, you're scared. Maya, I'm pregnant. The words stopped the air between them. He looked at her stomach, then back at her face. She waited. He should have moved toward her. Instead, he stepped back. I can't do this, he whispered. Then he turned and walked away while she cried his name behind him. Months passed like punishment. Maya's mother grew weaker. Hospital bills stacked on the kitchen table. Maya worked mornings at the cafe, evenings cleaning offices, nights doing freelance data entry online. When labor began, she was alone in a taxi. She gave birth to a baby girl with tiny fists and bright eyes. Ava, she whispered. Holding her daughter, Maya made a promise. No one will ever make you feel small. Her mother died 6 months later. Maya cried at the funeral with Ava in her arms. Then she went home and opened her laptop. Pain became discipline. She studied coding tutorials while Ava slept. She learned logistics software, e-commerce systems, and operations management through free courses and cheap classes. She failed often. She kept going. Years moved. Ava learned to walk between stacks of second-hand books in the apartment. Maya built a scheduling app for small delivery drivers. Then another tool for inventory tracking. Then a platform connecting local stores to affordable transport. One investor laughed at her accent. Another asked who was watching her child. Another said she lacked polish. She left each meeting stronger. At 30, she signed a regional contract. At 31, she expanded nationally. At 32, magazines called her visionary. But every success photo still showed the same calm eyes that once stood in the ring. Meanwhile, Ethan inherited the vice presidency exactly as promised. And discovered inherited power is not the same as earned ability. The Cole Group began bleeding money. Old-fashioned systems, arrogant leadership, lawsuits over worker treatment, bad acquisitions. Richard aged fast. Banks grew impatient. Board members whispered. Ethan worked late nights, trying to fix cracks his family created. One evening, Daniel, the CFO, dropped a report on the table. We need a strategic investor. Richard coughed into a handkerchief. We need loyalty. Daniel replied. We need cash. Ethan rubbed his face. Who's interested? Daniel slid another paper across. One company requested a private meeting after next week's summit. What company? He read the name and frowned. Apex Nova Holdings. He had never heard of it. The business summit ballroom buzzed with cameras, executives, and desperate smiles. Ethan adjusted his tie while his mother scanned the room. If we secure this investor, she whispered, the market calms. Richard muttered, then smile. The host stepped on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker transformed small business logistics across 3 continents in under 6 years. Applause thundered. Please welcome the founder of Apex Nova Holdings, Maya Bennett. The doors opened. Ethan stopped breathing. Maya walked in wearing a tailored ivory suit, elegant but simple. No diamonds. No excess. Just presence. Ava, now 6, walked beside her in a neat dress, holding a tablet with cheerful seriousness before being guided to the front row by an assistant. The room rose to its feet. Richard's glass nearly slipped. His wife whispered, impossible. Maya reached the podium and smiled. Many years ago, people told me success belongs to certain families, certain schools, certain zip codes, she said. I'm grateful I was ignored. Laughter and applause filled the room. Ethan could only stare. She saw him, and kept speaking like he was furniture. If this twist shocked you, like this video now and comment if you think Ethan deserves another chance. After the speech, investors crowded around Maya. Ethan pushed through politely. Can we talk? She glanced at her watch. You have 3 minutes. They stepped into a private lounge. He spoke first. You built all this. No, she said. My team did. I just refused to quit. I looked for you once. She raised an eyebrow. Did you look before or after abandoning your child? The words hit like thunder. My what? She opened the door slightly. Ava sat outside coloring. Ethan's knees weakened. The girl had his eyes. He whispered, she's mine? She's ours biologically, Maya said. Mine in practice. He stared through the glass, tears gathering before he understood them. Why didn't you tell me? I did. In the park. You walked away before hearing anything after the first sentence. He covered his face. I was young, weak, controlled. You were exactly who you chose to be. He looked at her. Can I meet her? She knows about you. What does she know? That her father was afraid. He flinched. Ava looked up from her coloring book and smiled through the glass, because children smile before they judge. Ethan broke completely. Maya's tone softened, just slightly. 3 minutes are over. She left him there. That night Richard demanded a family meeting. You will fix this, he barked. Ethan laughed bitterly. You still think everything bends because you shout. His mother snapped. That woman is humiliating us. No, Ethan said. We humiliated ourselves years ago. Richard stood, shaking with rage. I gave you everything. You gave me money, Ethan replied. You never gave me courage. Silence. For the first time, Richard looked old instead of powerful. The next morning, Maya toured Cole Group headquarters as a potential investor. Employees straightened nervously. Executives forced smiles. She asked hard questions. Why are warehouse injuries up? Why are suppliers unpaid? Why are executives bonused during layoffs? No one enjoyed the tour. At the final conference room, Richard attempted charm. We can discuss percentages. Maya sat calmly. We can discuss values. His wife forced a laugh. Business is not personal. Maya looked directly at her. It became personal the night you taught me what class really means. No one moved. Ethan entered quietly with Ava, who held a drawing. She approached Maya first. Mommy, I made Grandpa angry eyebrows. Even Richard almost smiled. Then Ava looked at Ethan. Are you my dad? The room shattered emotionally. Ethan knelt slowly. If you'll let me be. She considered this with the seriousness only children possess. Do you know how to braid hair? He blinked. Not yet. Then you need training. Laughter burst around the room, breaking years of tension. Maya shook her head, fighting a smile. Days passed in negotiation. News leaked that Apex Nova might acquire a major stake. Markets surged. But Maya delayed signing. Ethan met her at a quiet cafe, the same chain where they first met. You're punishing them, he said. I'm evaluating risk. You enjoy this a little. Maybe. He nodded. Fair. After a pause he said, I'm sorry. She stirred her tea. For leaving? For choosing comfort over love. For missing Ava's first steps. First words. Every birthday. She finally looked at him. Sorry, can't return time. I know. What do you want then? A chance to earn something honestly. She studied him for a long moment. Start with your daughter. He did. He learned braiding badly. He attended school pickup awkwardly. He read bedtime stories with too many voices. Ava adored correcting him. Weeks later, the final press conference arrived. Cameras flashed. Richard looked nervous. His wife looked humbled. Ethan looked changed. Maya approached the microphone. Apex Nova Holdings will invest in Cole Group under one condition. Reporters leaned forward. All warehouse wages rise immediately. Executive bonuses freeze for 2 years. Worker health care expands. Scholarship funds created for employees' children. Gasps. Richard opened his mouth. Ethan placed a hand on his father's arm. Accept it. Maya continued, and leadership changes. Effective today, Ethan Cole becomes interim CEO under board oversight. Shock spread wider. Ethan stared at her. Why me? She answered into the microphone. Because some people fail once and learn. Others fail forever and blame everyone else. Applause erupted. Richard sank back. His wife cried quietly. After the conference, Ethan found Maya on the terrace overlooking the city. You trusted me? No, she said. I trusted pressure to reveal whether you changed. He laughed softly. And if I fail, then I buy the rest next quarter. He laughed harder. Ava ran between them holding ice cream. Family picture, she announced. Maya and Ethan exchanged a glance full of history, pain, and possibility. They stood beside their daughter. The camera flashed. Not a fairy tale. Not a perfect ending. But a real beginning. Months later, wages were up, lawsuits settled, morale rising. Ethan worked harder than ever. Maya remained fierce. Ava remained the true CEO of everyone. One evening she asked, Mom, were we really poor? Maya smiled. We had hard days. Are we rich now? Maya kissed her forehead. We were rich the day we had each other. And somewhere in the next room, Ethan wiped his eyes before anyone could see. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe for more powerful stories, and comment the one lesson you learned today.